we're moving on to BYU, which I don't know why that's not written down. That is weird. But we're going on to the BYU Cougars, actually, who they had a really, really good year last year, making the Big 12 championship before ultimately losing to Texas Tech, who they lost to. That's the only team they lost to. Um, period. Last year, the only team they lost to was Texas Tech. They beat Georgia Tech in the bowl game in the Pop Tart Bowl. Came back late to win that one, and they went 11-1, 8-1 in the regular season. Again, the one loss to Texas Tech. Then they lost to Texas Tech in the bowl game. Not bowl game, excuse me, in the Big 12 championship. My fault. 34-7. Yeah, and I will say this: the offense did them so bad, but that's because Texas Tech defense was really good. Texas Tech defense was phenomenal. You put Texas Tech defense. I don't want to say with Miami because I'm trying to think of a school who had a really good offense. Let's just say Houston. Houston probably wins the Big 12 and probably wins a playoff game. Or let's just say you put that defense with we'll go TCU. TCU has a chance to play for a Big 12 championship. Even though I like TCU defense, individual players like Bud Clark, Namdi Obozar, and Caleb Williams, but Texas Tech defense with TCU offense, SMU offense, Texas Tech defense, man. So I'm saying that to say, being held to 7 points by Texas Tech defense is not nothing to be upset about. That defense is really good. But yeah, Kalani Sitake, great head coach. Has very disciplined players. Yeah, man, he's running a very, very solid program at BYU. I remember when BYU upset SMU, not last year, but 2 years ago at SMU, when Preston Stone and Kevin Jennings were battling out for that starting job. And I thought at the time it was a fluke, but no, it's just what Kalani Sitake, is building at BYU. So much love and support from CTC to Sitake and the BYU boys. But a great season, 12 wins at BYU last year. But we have some changes at BYU. We have a new DC, Kelly Papinga. Name might sound familiar. He did play in the NFL for a short period of time, was a linebacker. He was promoted from special teams and defensive ends to defensive coordinators and inside linebackers. He's been with BYU since 2023, so promotion well earned there for Papinga. Salute to him. That's the only change we have as far as OC, higher coach, or DC. So again, salute to Papinga for that. Now, they do return 13 starters, which I want to say is like if not the second most in the Big 12, maybe tied with Texas Tech in terms of returning production. So a lot of the players from that runner-up team is back at BYU, and that's nothing but great for them because they know the system, they know what's expected, and they know the potential that they could play at. They could potentially reach there. They were tied with Texas Tech, with both having 13. But yeah, that is great for the BYU Cougars. And then your quarterback that you return, who was a freshman last year, is Barry Balkmeyer. By the way, they returned 5 offensive starters and 8 defensive starters. Of the 5 offensive starters, 2 of them are offensive linemen. But you return Bear Bachmeyer, who I won't say is the greatest passer. He can throw the ball. I'm not going to say he's the best passer, though. He has some flaws. But, man, the name Bear suits him because the way he runs the ball, he will run through you. Now, the next level, if he's so gracious to play at the next level, they might have him chill out a bit, or he might be a Taysom Hill at the next level. Funny enough, also went to BYU, but yeah, he'll run through you for sure. They return LJ Martin, who was a one of the, I would say, a top 15 back in the country last year. 236 carries, 1,305 yards, 5.5 a carry, 12 touchdowns, 36 catches, 255 yards. Return JoJo Phillips, a receiver with 14 catches, 161 yards. Return Falatu Satuala, a defensive back with 84 total tackles, 47 solos, a sack, 4 pass breakups, 3 picks, a touchdown, and 2 forced fumbles. Isaiah Glasker, a linebacker with 67 total tackles, 36 solos, 3 sacks, a pass breakup, 2 picks, forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. Saleh Essara, a linebacker, 48 total tackles, 23 solos, a sack, and a pass breakup. Evan Johnson, I love the cornerback duo that returns for the BYU Cougars, and Evan Johnson and Alexander, Therian Alexander III. I love that cornerback duo. I feel like they really strapped last year, and I think they're going to really be on straps again this year for the BYU Cougars. Evan Johnson had 47 total tackles, 38 solos, a sack, 7 pass breakups, 5 picks, and a pick 6. While Therian Alexander had 34 total tackles, 27 solos, a sack, 5 pass breakups, and a pick. They returned Raider Demunis, 43 total tackles, 19 solos, 2 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Bodie Shinover at the end, who had 35 total tackles, 20 solos, 3 sacks, and 3 pass breakups. And Keanu Tanoveza, a defensive tackle, had 26 total tackles, 9 solos, 2 sacks, and 3 pass breakups. Now, they did lose Parker Kingston, who kind of had the Jake Reslav incident where, the code of BYU, no relations on campus. Kind of had that on campus, so he was forced to leave. Don't know where Parker Kingston is currently. I don't think he's actually allowed to transfer or something along those lines. But he's no longer at BYU at the moment. So, again, just unfortunate situation due to, the rules of BYU. But it still seems like Parker Kingston is still no longer at a school. So, yeah, much luck because, the R charge that he did have was thrown away. Dismissed, we'll say. Again, I just think it was like the Jake Retzlaff situation. But if he was really, truly not guilty, good luck on finding a school because the man can ball. He's fast. He can ball for sure. He's a good receiver. So, if it's not true, he'll find a good spot to land. But lost Chase Roberts, who I thought was a guy who could play at the next level. I told my brother when we was watching Chase Roberts play, he's not gonna get drafted. Puka Nacua got overlooked at BYU. He got drafted in the 5th round, and Puka is one of the best receivers in the league. I'm not saying that Chase Roberts is going to be one of the best receivers in the league. That's not what I'm saying. But I think Chase Roberts is a guy who can play on Sundays. But he's currently on the Raiders. 54 catches, 802 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Carson Ryan, tight end, currently on the Browns. 45 catches, 620 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Tanner Waller, safety on the Raiders. 71 total tackles, 43 solos, 4 picks, a touchdown, and a forced fumble. Jack Kelly, a linebacker on the Giants. 55 total tackles, 42 solos, 10 sacks, and a pass breakup, and 2 forced fumbles. And Logan Latui, DN. 50 total tackles, 26 solos, 5 pass breakups, and a pick. Now, they had the 24th overall recruiting class, which salute to BYU for that, and 39th in transfers with only 9 transfers. But they did have a guy, Walker Lyons, tight end from USC, transfer in, who had 20 catches, 223 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, that's solid stats when you're behind a guy like Lake McCree. Cade Ulave, probably the best transfer they got, the linebacker from Cal, who had 97 total tackles, 42 solos, 3 sacks, and 4 pass breakups. And Javen Williams, cornerback from Mississippi State, who had 18 total tackles, 10 solos, a pass breakup, interception, 2 forced fumbles. Leaving Jeff Lebby and whatever's been going on there. But they were 54th in total offense, 35th in total defense, 33rd in scoring offense, 19th in scoring defense, 73rd in passing, 50th in pass defense, 39th in rushing, 30th in rush defense, 51st in third down percentage on offense, tied 19th on third down percentage on defense, tied 37th for fewest penalties per game, 27th for red zone offense, 6th in red zone defense. Without further ado, let's get into the schedule. Well, game 1, they will be playing Utah Tech. No need to explain. Have a win here. Actually, we'll do this. I have BYU beating everybody except Notre Dame. And that is in BYU. So I have BYU going 11-1, 9-0. They play Utah Tech. Arizona, Colorado State, at TCU, at home against Iowa State and Notre Dame, on the road against UCF, at home against Arizona State, on the road against Utah in the Holy War, at home against Baylor, on the road against Kansas, and at home against Cincy. Again, where I only have them losing one game, and that is at Notre Dame. Now, there is a obvious swing game, in my opinion, and that is the Holy War against Utah, just because that is the Holy War, and that game, very much so a big rivalry. So that, how I feel about rivalry games. They could go either way. So that's why I have uh, that as a swing game. But ultimately, I have the over 8.5 in the BYU preview. So I actually feel kind of safe about that too. Again, my only swing game is Utah. Other than that, I think BYU actually lucked up and had a very easy schedule this year. You don't play Texas Tech. You do play Arizona, which I think that's a good game. Again, last year win the OT. But that's probably the toughest Big 12 opponent they have. You don't play Houston, don't play Texas Tech. So yeah, those two games right there would be very big test for BYU. But again, 11-1, 9-0, taking the over 8.5, and we'll move on to now